From the Fans Talk Podcast family at fanstalkpodcast.com, this is episode 43 of Fans Talk Lucha, and we are recording live directly after Lucha Underground just went off the air. My name is Garvin, and I'm alongside our friends in the Squared Circle of Trust. If you want to join live on an upcoming episode, you can join us by pledging $1 a month or more on squaredcircleoftrust.com. Shout out to Ishmael. Good to see you, man. Tonight, we recap and react to Lucha Underground Season 2, Episode 17, entitled Crime and Punishment. This week, we started backstage. Cueto seemed to be packing money. Going off of what we saw last week, he got word that whoever the employer was of the councilman was coming to Lucha Underground this week. Maybe it had something to do with that. It was short-lived for sure, because Cage entered and wants to know where his medallion is. He criticized Chavo for stealing it, and Cueto wanted nothing to do with it. He said, "This is not my problem. This is your problem. And if he wants his medallion, he should go get it." So, and this led us to what happened in ring. Basically, Cueto was preparing for the ancient Aztec medallion ceremony. Basically, he walked out, announced everyone who was eligible for the match to go ahead and place their medallion in the title, and they would be entered into the match later on tonight. 7 luchadors competing for the Gift of the Gods Championship. So we had Tejano, Joey Ryan, El Siniestro de la Muerte, Aerostar, the Mac, and Sexy Star. They all entered into the match. Chavo then came out, and Chavo was obviously reluctant because Cueto came to the ring with Cage in tow. So Cage was there, and Cage was planning on stopping Chavo from putting his medallion into the title, therefore putting himself into that match. Chavo came out. Cage attacked him right away, took the medallion pouch, little dice pouch that he has, and pulled out a washer, a very large washer. And Chavo took this opportunity to take out Cage. Basically, he stole the medallion in the first place. He basically weaseled his way, took out Cage, and placed the medallion into the title, thus entering him officially into the match. This is super, super disappointing for me. I went, for all intents and purposes, I went all in on the idea that Cage was going to win this title. So for him to not even be involved was crazy. I don't know. And Cueto went on the mic and basically said, Chavo put the medallion in the title, therefore Chavo gets this match. Oh, that's rough. Looking at everyone else on this roster: Tejano, Joey Ryan, El Siniestro de la Muerte, Aerostar, the Mac, Sexy Star, and Chavo. It's hard to really determine who I thought for sure was going to be in this match. I know I was on Twitter and in the live chat here in the Squared Circle of Trust Slack community, uncertain of how to really predict this match at this point. But we'll continue that a little bit later on. We started off with our first match. It was Daga versus Argenis versus Cobra Moon versus Mascarita Sagradas, and Famous B interrupted Melissa Santos so that he could introduce his client that wanted to get fame, Mascarita Sagradas, and really built him up. And I enjoyed that a whole lot. He's now reigning from Little Hollywood. And lots of wisecracks from the commentary team. Overall, I thought it was a really good match. Mascarita looked pretty solid early on. Unfortunately, because of who he is and his size, he was basically taken advantage of by everyone. Everyone got their offense on him. We saw some bits and pieces of different feuds that were starting. Whether it was Argenis versus Cobra Moon or Argenis versus Daga. Daga and Cobra Moon seemed to strike a little bit of a bond, specifically on the Cobra Moon side. So it was overall it was a pretty solid match. And Daga picked up the win, but it was because of Cobra Moon that he won. She basically took out Mascarita Sagradas and, sat in the corner in her snake-like way and basically gave the win to Daga. Daga seemed uncertain of it, but, there's definitely some kind of interest there from Cobra Moon. So whether that is for evil purposes or maybe this is going to turn into a love story, I don't know. I hope it's not a love story because I really hate love stories in wrestling. That's not why I watch wrestling. And the idea of Cobra Moon, who could be pretty decent as a wrestler, to then, put that all to the side so that she can, have this love thing with Daga. I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping that's not the direction that they go, because so many other companies, whether it's TNA or WWE or NXT, they go in that direction, and I don't want to see it. That is not Lucha Underground here. So yeah, Ishmael in the live chat is saying the same thing. No more love stories from Lucha Underground. I don't want to see it. A lot of us don't want to see it. So hopefully that is not where this is going. But knowing Lucha Underground, I can only imagine the different directions that they'll go in. They normally don't go status quo. They don't normally go in the same direction that every other company has gone in the past. They seem to go outside of that box to look at things a bit differently. So that's definitely what I'm hoping for when it comes to Cobra Moon and Daga. Maybe it ends up in being a feud between Daga and Cobra Moon. I would totally be into that for sure. Next up, we had a match between Killshot and Marty the Moth. Prior to this match, backstage, Marty the Moth basically confronted Killshot. He was very openly taunting him for the military style that he runs and the military background that he had. And basically, was consistently pointing like the symbolic gun, the finger gun, basically, at Killshot. And I thought it was intriguing just because Marty the Moth was very playful, very creepy, but also trying to play some head games with Killshot. And Killshot got the advantage and took Marty the Moth down. And, normally you might see some, as far as normal wrestling goes, you might see that a character like Marty the Moth would be disrupted by that, or be taken aback by the idea that he was overtaken by his opponent. But Marty, in Marty way, laughed it off in as creepy as a fashion as possible, and So overall, I like the build-up. I like the little backstage segment that they had, just to show that Marty isn't necessarily done being who he is after the whole Mariposa and Sexy Star bit. He's moving on from that. So this match, it was a lot of taunting between. It was a lot of taunting between Marty the Moth and Killshot. Marty continuing to play that maniacal head game type of guy, and it was a brawl. It was definitely a brawl between the two. Overall, I thought it went pretty well. It was kind of a short match. I think it was only about 5 minutes. Killshot got the win, and when Marty lost the match, you could see like this anguish in his face, and I really enjoyed how the next minute or so played out, because after the match, Marty attacked Killshot, and commentary, they noted that while wins and losses mean a lot in the temple, so does violence. And Marty the Moth going after Killshot and basically attacking him. He bloodied him up. After the match, he also took the dog tags from Killshot and walked out with them. So that violence, that overall, unusual way that Marty goes about things. As far as where commentary was coming from, they saw it more as a sign that Marty was really aiming at just making his presence known to Dario Cueto. So Dario, I mean, he's very violent. He loves to see that violence. So while wins and losses matter, Marty the Moth was sending a message to Dario Cueto that he was violent, unhinged, and would go after a guy like Killshot despite the loss. He was beaten, but he was not completely destroyed. That he was going to continue to fight. So I'm very curious with that kind of talk, with commentary, where Marty the Moth goes from here. Like Killshot, I don't think necessarily plays a role in this. Like maybe this is leading into a much more developed feud between Killshot and Marty the Moth. But to me, it seems like it's a much bigger story with Marty and what he's trying to do to prove that he belongs in the temple. Just think back to when Marty was first introduced to the temple. He was just this random guy that confronted Cueto and wanted to get involved. Cueto didn't really see him as a fighter, as a competitor, as a guy that could really survive in the temple. So for him to do something like this, it could definitely prove that he has the violent nature, the will to take out his opponent despite wins and losses. So yeah, overall, I'm really interested to see where this goes. But that leads us to our main event. Again, the Gift of the Gods Championship on the line. We have Tejano versus Joey Ryan versus El Siniestro de la Muerte versus Aerostar versus Sexy Star versus Chavo. I'm just going to let that sit in because I'm still irritated that Chavo was in this match. Biggest pops when we were introduced to the competitors definitely goes to Sexy Star and the Mac. Biggest boos definitely goes to El Siniestro, as well as Chavo. The fans don't necessarily back those two guys. I don't know anyone who is interested in seeing Chavo. I mean, if you're interested in Chavo, definitely let me know. Let that voice be heard, because right now I cannot care less about Chavo. But I will at the end of this match. So let's get into this. Sexy Star, I gotta say, Sexy Star was back to her badass mode. She took out basically everyone that she competed with. She definitely showed this, the fighter that we're so familiar with and so intrigued by. That she's, despite her size, despite being female, she is still competing at the best of the best level with the rest of the competitors in here. We also saw some good stuff from Tejano. We saw some good stuff from Aerostar. Joey Ryan obviously played his normal role. And I thought overall it was a very good match. Chavo is your winner. The reason why, though, Cage came out, and Cage could have easily taken out Chavo. But right before he came out, everyone else took out Chavo. They hit him with all of their signature moves or finishers, and Chavo was pretty much laid out dead on arrival. Cage comes out, and instead of continuing the attack on Chavo, which is what I expected, I don't know if you saw this otherwise, feel free to let me know. But Cage went after everyone else and seriously destroyed everyone else, took everyone else out with, various slams and suplexes and pile drivers and DDTs and, everything that Cage does so well. He took out everyone, and he pulled Chavo over to get the pin. So Chavo is your new Gift of the Gods championship. And again, at the time that this happened, I couldn't believe it. I could not understand why Cage would do this, why anyone in their right mind, as far as from the booking capacity, would put Chavo as your champion. But it was all made clear. Cage took the mic as Chavo escaped from the ring with his new title, with his new Gift of the Gods title, was slinking up the stairs as he was trying to get away. And Cage said, that he talked to Dario Cueto, and Dario Cueto said that next week Chavo would be defending the title against Cage. So I might have been wrong with my predictions that Cage would be the Gift of the Gods championship in this match. But there is no way, there is no way that next week Cage will not be the Gift of the Gods champion. So I don't know why they needed this extra element. I don't know why they needed this extra, delay of putting the title on Cage. But I don't know. I mean, and Ishmael in the live chat, Chavo Guerrero is going to be the shortest reigning Gift of the Gods championship or champion ever. I'm feeling the same way. He will lose next week. I don't see why they wouldn't. I don't see why they wouldn't put the championship on Cage. He is the best competitor across the board to take on Matanza. Like, I want to see Matanza versus Cage for the title. Chavo? Not really. Honestly, I would prefer Chavo retire. And it's not good heel heat. I would just rather remove him altogether from all storylines. So I don't know. But That was pretty much this week. We had one closing segment. It was another continuation of Vampiro and Pentagon Jr. Pentagon Jr. is basically hung up in this contraption, almost like a spider web, where all of his limbs and his body is held up by these wires. And Vampiro is just hitting him over and over again, saying that, only the weak show that they're in pain. Only the weak show that they are afraid, and that we need Pentagon Jr. to get past that and to work through the pain. Now, I don't know much about the medical industry, but I'm pretty confident if he broke his back, like, this is not the way to do it, Vampiro. This is totally not the way. But overall, I love the message, the overall drama that this is, producing. You've got Pentagon Jr., which is a guy that we all want to see back in the ring, and Vampiro is, in one sense, he is trying to get the message through to Pentagon that he needs to fight through this pain. But on the same time, he is basically beating the tar out of Pentagon Jr. So I don't know how this is helping. Who ended up with a barbed wire bat, and as the scene cut at the very end of the episode, Vampiro was swinging the barbed wire bat into Pentagon Jr.'s back. Again, I don't know how this is helping the health side, like the physical health side. The mental health, maybe it is. I don't know, Pentagon. I don't know, Vampiro. I don't know, what puts them into the mood to get up and fight. But, at the same time, it just seems counterproductive is all. Yeah, and the live chat, again, Pentagon Jr. has a broken back. You're basically beating him up. That's only making it worse. So it's kind of a strange collection of messages that's being sent here from Vampiro to Pentagon Jr. But I imagine what we're leading to is a very strong, very aggressive, and very callous Pentagon Jr. as we move forward. So if that's the case, if that's the direction we're going, I'm into it. I'm all in. So that is this week in Lucha Underground. I want to remind you that this episode of Fans Talk Lucha has been brought to you by the great members of our community, the Squared Circle of Trust. And because of your help, we're able to really afford the costs that are involved in putting this on. And, producing all the shows, hosting all of the MP3s, distributing the content, all of the time that we put in, you guys are showing us your appreciation by becoming members of the Squared Circle of Trust. And you can do it right now if you haven't. You can start supporting us today by going to squaredcircleoftrust.com and pledging as little as $1 a month. And with that, let's go into wins and fails of the week. So I've already polled the live chat on what the live chat's wins of the week is. For me, my win of the week is definitely the idea. Again, this was my prediction going into the Gift of the Gods Championship match that Cage was going to be champion. And we basically got, for me at least, we got confirmation that Cage will be the Gift of the Gods champion after next week. So Chavo versus Cage, can't wait. I hope that Dario gets involved just in case Chavo tries to weasel himself out of the match, or try to whether it's DQ or anything like that. I hope Daddio, ignores that and just keeps the match going. Cage wins. That's what I'm looking forward to. So that's my win of the week, is the idea that we're going to get Cage versus Chavo next week for the Gifts of the Gods Championship. My fail of the week? Oh, I'm sorry. The win of the week from live chat. Win of the week, we basically got... Killshot versus Marty the Moth. That's getting a lot of love. So, yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I thought that match was very good. It is good in storytelling for what's happening next with Marty the Moth. It gives Killshot another win, so it's definitely, producing some good stuff for Killshot as he moves on with the rest of his career. Now, if this leads to a feud, who knows? But it's definitely doing a lot of good right now for both of them. Fails of the week. My fail of the week is... I like reasons. I like reasons for matches. So we've seen that consistently with Lucha Underground, that, Daddio Cueto puts two guys against each other to hate each other, or puts, a number of people for a title shot, or, whatever. There's always a reason. And my fail of the week is that Daga versus Argenis versus Cobra Moon versus Mascarita Sagradas really had no purpose. It was very much filler. Like, yes, of course, it started this relationship between Daga and Cobra Moon. It continued to have Mascarita Sagradas and Famous B on TV. But overall, this match in itself was for no reason whatsoever. So that's my fail. I don't want filler matches. I don't want squash matches. I want everything to make sense and be put into the context of what the temple is. So I think, all intents and purposes, that is my fail of the week. Lucha Underground doesn't do stuff like that normally, and I don't want to continue seeing that. So that's it. That's my fail of the week from live chat. We've got Vampiro hitting Pentagon Jr. with the barbed wire bat. We've got Marty the Moth stealing the dog tags of Killshot. I can definitely see all of that. But again, Marty the Moth, this is showing that he belongs in the temple, so I'm okay with it. What that leads to between Marty and Killshot, who knows? But, overall, sure, I understand you failed, but at the same time, I kind of see where things are going. There's a lot of optimistic ideas that we can take from those two particular items. So, but that's it. This series, as well as the rest of the podcast released through fanstalkpodcast.com, are supported exclusively by you, our Patreon subscribers. And you can subscribe today for as little as $1 a month to receive early access to our content, as well as get your ears and eyes on some exclusive content that we produce throughout the month. My name is Garvin. We will see you next week. Adios.